Of course. Of course, it's on the wrong screen. Why wouldn't it be on the wrong screen? It's one of those days. Give me a moment, everybody. There we go. Anyway, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. And guys, give me a second because not podcasting for a few weeks, which we'll talk about. Um, I want to show love to every single one of them. So just bear with me while I show love to these places because they have been awesome through this whole process. Um, Supporting me, reaching out, seeing if there's anything can do for me. So I appreciate all of them. So first, we're going to start off with my friends over at Yellow Jacket. Guys, I always say this. I will never tell you where to spend your money. All I say is if you're looking for one of the tools that they produce or make, to give them a look. I think they make good quality products that don't break the bank. I have been testing out, which I don't even think it is on their website yet. Let's see if we can find it. Um, their new manifold, the Titan, is pretty slick. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've had this thing for a long time now, testing out. I haven't been able to tell everybody. Here it is. This is the Titan Max digital manifold. This thing is pretty slick. It's built like a tank. You can beat the absolute hell of it, and it has all the features that we've been asking for forever. So now all of the Yellow Jacket stuff that you may have, wireless clamps, whatever it is, will connect to this wirelessly like everybody else does. But now Yellow Jacket is also on the Measure Quick app. So say you have some field piece stuff, you have some testo stuff, and you want this manifold. All of this will still work inside of Measure Quick. So you don't have to, go all in with one product if you want to try something different because they will all connect inside of Measure Quick, giving you the readings they're supposed to. So I think that is really, really cool. Obviously, Yellow Jacket would love for you to buy all the Yellow Jacket stuff, but I think that's pretty awesome that they even said that. Most manufacturers would not make that, publicly known, but that's pretty awesome. So, if you're looking to upgrade your digital manifold, go check out the Yellow Jacket Titan Max. And remember, 75 years of expertise built into every tool. Next, you guys know it is my friends over at BLUON. Guys, I get it. Most of you that listen to me, you're a bunch of super techs and you know everything. Nobody can show you anything. Um, I get it, but that's not how everybody is. The sad reality is there's a lot of young techs out there that don't know everything. They're put in positions that they shouldn't be in and they're vulnerable. And even people that know what they're doing, they still get stuck sometimes. And I think culture in companies is changing, it's getting better, but there's still a lot of companies out there where people don't feel like they have somebody to call to ask a question. Or you can't call tech support because it's after 5 o'clock. Well, that's where Blue On has your back. Not only do they have one of the best communities in the industry of almost 200,000 plus technicians that are there to help, they're positive, they'll answer your questions. It's if you just want to goof off, but it's always positive. Nobody beating anybody up, tearing somebody down. That's just not what they don't allow that, and I love that, to be honest with you. Um, and then they have their app. We all know about the manuals. Yes, they give you manuals. You can order your parts and all that kind of stuff. But the tech support is some bar none. And I get it. People have ups, people have downs. Some people have good experience, some people have bad. But I think if you stick with it and keep calling it, I have met these individuals. These people are technicians. They were techs in the field. They did our job, and now they're answering the phone. All right. They're not just people looking through a diagram or a flow chart trying to answer your question like some of these other tech support places. They're legitimate technicians who have been in the field and have done exactly what we do, so they know how to help you. Sometimes it's getting to the right person. So as far as I'm concerned, I think BluOn is a game changer for the industry, and it's awesome for those who need it. If you're a super tech and don't need it, touche, more power to you. But for all of you that do, download the BluOn app. It's completely free. They're starting to implement more things that they understand that some of you can't decide where you buy your parts from. So you're going to be able to get tech support in a different way. It's going to be right through the App Store. It's like $10 a month, something like that. And you will have unlimited tech support to be able to help yourself. All right. So go download the BluOn app. And remember, BluOn is upgrading the HVAC industry. Last but not least, I'm going to do this real fast. VETO, you guys know, is one of my newest sponsors. Both of these bags on the screen I have, and I have them to give away. I literally have 7, 8 bags behind me. Obviously, you guys know I've been out, so I have to play catch up. But we'll get into that. I have some giveaways to do, a bunch of stuff to do to give away for VETO. But everybody knows that VETO is the Cadillac of tool bags. You get what you pay for. They're the best in the business. They have so many different options now. You can't even. They have something for everyone. I tried on one of their tool belts, and I was like, "This thing is badass. Like, I love this thing." Everything they make is quality, and if you're buying all these fancy tools, then I think you should put them in a nice bag that's going to last you a minimum of 5 years with that 5 year zero time downtime, zero downtime warranty. Couldn't say it there. So, guys, if you are out there looking for a new tool bag, check out my friends at VETO. They have everything under the sun, especially right now with their 2-tier promotion, which started March 1st and goes till May 31st. Go take a look, and also make sure you're following me on Instagram and all the different social media platforms so you can win one of the bags that I have to give away. All right, enough paying the bills. Let's get on to the show. I have an amazing guest tonight that I cannot wait to talk to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil Cavey Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, Gil Cavey Jr. Here we are, another Wednesday night. First and foremost, I'm going to get this out of the way. I apologize for not being here for 2 weeks. If a lot of you follow me on social media, then you will know why. Um, to everyone that reached out to me, that sent me a email, a text message, some sort of message, whether it was prayers or whatever it was, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do. It was a scary time. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, I don't bullshit you. I thought that was it. I thought that I was never going to see my mom again. Um, it was rough. It was literally like 2 Saturdays ago. My mom has a scar on her neck from a stroke years ago. Well, it had an aneurysm and it started to open up at the bottom, and it was connected to a carotid artery. Well, let's just say that that started to bleed. And if you know what a carotid artery is, that thing bleeds pretty bad. So I held pressure until the paramedics came. She got to University of Maryland, which is an amazing hospital. We're fortunate to have close to us. Um, they were able to stop the bleeding. They had to rush her into surgery to put stents in her neck so this couldn't happen again. When that happened, my mom had a stroke during the process. And when she was supposed to be coming out in recovery, she wasn't coming out of anesthesia. So I hate using this word, but my mom was almost like a vegetable for several days. She wasn't talking, she wasn't moving. Um, she would smile, but I don't. She wasn't talking. I couldn't talk to her, so it was kind of rough. It was scary. I didn't know if I was going to be put in the position like, hey, this is it, like turning a machine on and off and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank God that God is good. That it was one morning I got a phone call. He said, doctor said, "Hey, Gil, I'm just letting you know this is a good call, not a bad call. Um, it's like a miracle. It's like a switch went off. Your mom is up. She's talking. She's moving all her limbs." So immediately I rushed to the hospital. I walk in and my mom goes, "Hey, baby," and I about fucking lost it. So, um, yeah. So she was started moving good for them. Got moved out of ICU. Went into a vascular unit, was there for several days, and my mom is actually home now. But it's finding the new normal. So she's good. She's here. Thank God she's here, but it's not the same person that left, if that makes sense. Like, she's here mentally, but she's having trouble getting around. So it's a work in process, and work in progress. And then also, I close on my new house this Friday. So it's been kind of hectic. So this week, or next week will be the last time you guys will see the studio and you'll see the new one. All right. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Thank all of you for all the message, man. You guys have no idea. I may not respond back to you, but going through a moment like that, you have no idea how much they help and how much it lifts your spirits and something like that. So I cannot thank all of you enough for your messages and however you reached out to me. I truly, truly am grateful and I thank you so much for that. All right. With that being said, I have an amazing guest who's become very good. It's awesome to be able to call him a friend. He's just an amazing person. He's awesome at what he does, and he's selfless as far as he's very good at what he does, but he's also willing to help anybody and anyone who needs his help. There's a reason that he won an HVAC Tactical Award. There's a reason that everybody knows who he is. He's doing amazing things, and I'm super, super excited to have him on here again, even though we're not matching this time. But guys, please put your hand together and help me welcome my good friend, uh, the doctor, the HVAC doctor, Mr. Matt Waxer.
Well, shit, I can't live up to a intro like that, Gil.
Hey man,
Um,
I try to build it up
Thank
so
you
that
so
way
much, brother.
if the show sucks, it's like, well, the build up was there, you know. It's like I'm just kidding. No, it's of course, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, bro.
Hey, it's absolutely awesome to be back. Love that I'm able to sport a lovely uncensored cap from a fantastic guy I met in Chicago, and I, dude, it was awesome just to spend some time with you in Chicago. We missed that point in Atlanta, unfortunately, but thankfully, we both made that time to get in front of each other in Chicago, and man, what a blast it was!
Yeah,
And
it was a blast.
absolutely phenomenal time I had with you, man.
Yeah, likewise, brother. I'm so glad we got to spend some time. If people don't understand how, AHR is, especially if you're not, an influencer, and I hate to throw that word around, but a lot of us have um responsibilities. Like we have places we have to be at a certain time. So it makes it really, really hard to be able to see your friends. And once you've been there a few times, you start to learn how to do stuff, but it makes it hard. So the fact that we got to spend some time together and talk and BS was awesome because sadly, if you're not at the same place at the same time, it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, well, by the grace of God, I was at the Nylog, Viper Nylog wrestling that Becca and Ash were doing, and Ben was the host of it. And once that had wrapped up, Ben was like, "I need to get to the podcast pavilion. I got to get on the show with Gil." I'm like, "You know what? I got you, Ben. I know exactly where we're going. Just follow me." And it was an absolute shock and pleasure for you to invite me on with Ben, and an absolute honor to sit down with both you and Ben to just shoot the shit at AHR over a podcast. Thank you so much for having me on, man.
Yeah, of course, brother. That was a fun. Like I think those are the most fun podcasts, the ones that aren't scripted. We just get up there and, speak from the heart and shut that fucking dog up. Sorry.
It's all
And
good.
and yeah, I think those are the best ones. The ones that people just you talk off the top of your head. It's not scripted. Well, to be honest, I don't think I've ever scripted a podcast just for that reason. But
Oh,
yeah, it
hold
was
on
a
a minute. Shit, what page are we on? Page 3. All
Yeah,
right.
I sent you the damn script, Matt.
Fuck.
Um,
Damn it. Hold on a minute. Oh no, there we are. We're good.
that's funny. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. I've been seeing the post on Instagram, especially the last 2 weeks when I haven't been as active with people sharing pictures of, wearing my hat or my shirt or whatever. So that's awesome. I appreciate that. Here lately, I've been wearing my own merch, but normally anybody who knows me knows that I'm wearing somebody else's stuff. I rarely ever wear my own merchandise. I'm supporting one of my friends. Um, Obviously, I'm always wearing tactical stuff, supporting Ben. Ben's one of my best friends in the world. Who was very, very important to me with the stuff with my mom going through. There's a couple other people. KB is another one. Um,
Yeah, got
just
absolutely
awesome.
nothing but love and respect for Kalen. That
Yeah.
man is. I'm better for knowing him. I, I got nothing but love and respect for that man.
Yeah. And that's what I love about what this industry has done is I, this podcast has given me so many privileges and I will take none of them for granted because I know just as fast as they came, they can go away. And the fact that I get to talk to so many amazing people, hear stories about the industry, I get to help others at the same time making myself better. And I have met some amazing people that I get to call friends now. A lot of people that I would have never met if it wasn't for this. And that's not something that I take lightly. I mean, most of the people, like, granted, I have a lot of close friends that I grew up with, even though most of them are dead, just keeping it real. But most of the people that I talk to on a daily basis do not live in my state. You know, they're friends that I've
Yeah,
made from this, and I think that that's awesome, and I love seeing that when it comes to the trade. Like, even at the, and not to go back to HR and talk about the tactical awards, but I've said this before. It's you have a bunch of important people, people that are doing big things. I mean, we're talking some got 500,000 subs, some got, more than that. Like people that could be cocky and full of themselves if they wanted to, and they're not. They're just regular
absolutely.
people that you can walk up and talk to and have a conversation. And I love that. I love every second of it.
Yeah, being able to just walk up to people like Craig Migliaccio and just shoot the breeze with Craig, or Ben. Like
Yeah.
Ben's running a massive event at HVAC Tactical Awards, and he'll take the time to spend a few minutes with you, go over something, shoot the breeze. Like, who else does that at a stage like an event of that size? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that would, really.
Yeah. It's crazy
And
when it comes
you know,
to Craig. I used to watch his videos, and now Craig is a very good friend of mine. Craig is one of the people that I've talked to, since my mom, and I talk to him quite frequently. He's one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Like that that
absolutely.
that guy could have 100 million subscribers, and you would never notice a change in him ever. That's just
Yeah,
not
no,
him.
he's just so humble and down to earth.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
and
just similar to like this year's Mentor of the Year award winner. Well, even last year and this year. So last year, Trevor Matthews. Trevor Matthews, refrigeration mentor. You
awesome
know,
dude.
awesome dude. I'm lucky to call him a friend. He lives a couple hours away from me. We see each other here and there. We're going to see each other next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at CMPX. We'll get into a little bit of that in a little bit. I'll be doing one of his podcasts on the Friday of the trade show, and just honored and awesome to be asked to be on his show. It's, where else do you have a community like this that, reaches out to like-minded people and be like, you know what, I want to have you on my podcast, just to shoot the breeze and go over, whatever topic we're going to talk about. Or even the first day of that show, Gary McCready, HVAC Know-It-All, is having myself and my other three friends from our little Instagram group, Red Seal Inc. So the HVAC foodie, my brother Ilya, brother from another mother,
Mhm.
awesome dude. HVAC Rach, what can I say about Rach? Absolutely killing it, awesome person.
Yeah,
And
me and her are connected. I want to say that she may have got connected, and I may be getting her mixed up, and I apologize. There's a lot of awesome women out there where their names are kind of
yep,
similar. So
oh yeah,
I think I talked to her. It may be somebody different, so I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I think I talked to her.
could be. I'll shoot her a message later and make sure that you know she is either chatting with you or get the two of you hooked up, because Rach is an awesome person.
Yeah,
She
definitely. Send anybody my
recently
way, man.
went out on her own with a partner to start her own business, and she's absolutely crushing it,
Nice.
absolutely killing the HVAC game.
Yeah.
And last but not least, our we call him the VP of Shenanigans, HVAC J604. Our West Coast is the best coast HVAC brother. He'll be there as well. Absolutely
Nice.
love Jay. So it's going to be an absolute blast, absolute fun time. But
That's awesome.
just industry connections are absolutely amazing, and just humble, down to earth people like Trevor, like yourself. I mentioned the other winner of the Mentor Award, Brett Wetzel. Like, I
I
feel,
gotta I gotta call Brett back because Brett always busts my balls because I canceled on him one time, and I know he's joking with me, but he tried to reach out to me. So Brett, if you come on here, It is my fault. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I didn't call you back, brother. That's my fault. I know Brett's gonna bust my balls for that. He's like, "You just
Oh
don't
yeah,
love me. That's why you don't call me back. I'm not important enough," which he knows
that
that's not
sounds like
true.
Brett.
Yeah,
But
he's a mess, man.
absolutely love Brett. Brett's
Yeah,
an awesome guy. Got absolutely nothing but respect for him, and you know, just the knowledge that man has. Like he makes me
super.
feel stupid.
Yeah,
I want.
he's super smart. He's so silly, and he'll make you piss your pants laughing, but you don't realize how smart he is. Like
Mhm.
he understands things on a different level, and when you start talking, it's like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what that does," but okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to like 150-ton rooftop units. I'll stay clear of the CO2 rack stuff. I'll just appreciate it from a distance.
Yeah,
But
it
that said, I was driving into a site this morning, and for those that haven't listened, to plug a podcast that's not your podcast on your podcast. If anybody hasn't listened to Brett's latest episode about VFDs and the guests he had on about VFD parameters and VFD characteristics, definitely take a listen. It is well worthwhile.
Oh, definitely. You can plug I plug all my friends, man. Like, it's I've there's enough of them out there that if you're legitimately trying to be better, then there's so many podcasts out there to listen to. And I tell people when they listen to me, you know, you might learn something one show, another show, you might make a comment and teach somebody else. Maybe it's an episode that you just have a good time. You didn't learn anything, but you just enjoyed yourself. You got some amusement. Or maybe it's one of the episodes where we talk about mental health or something, and it's a life changing moment. So I think every time you come to this one, you may get something a little different. But technical
Absolutely.
wise, there's a bunch of amazing technical podcasts out there that when you listen to them, you're going to be better afterwards than you were before. That's just proven.
Yeah, you got to mix it up on your podcast listening. From podcasts that go over that are predominantly focused on technical aspects like Brett's and Kevin's, to podcasts that cover the gamut. So like Gary's or like yours. You get into deep dive into technical things, deep dive into life, deep dive into just shooting the breeze on a good topic.
Yeah.
And it's podcasts like that that you know show that as much as we're technical nerds and you know dived right into this whole HVAC industry, at the heart of it, the people that want to see people do better and the people in this community that we're in, we're all there getting everybody's back, and we want to see everybody else succeed. And for
Y-
me, I don't care what my social media does in terms of numbers. If I can help somebody out of it, which I've been lucky enough to do more than a few times, that's what makes my day. That's what's worth it to me.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. The emails or the messages, people thanking me or, hey, I heard you and so talking about this and I did that and it worked. Or, oh, I did what you said and I got a raise. Or, hey man, I just started my own company and I'm doing good. And that kind of stuff is the payoff. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that kind of stuff. And it's funny speaking of Gary, like me and Gary have both been around a long time, and we have talked, but we've never done each other's show. And me and Gary were messaging, like me and him got to do something, because I love Gary, I respect what he does, and the fact that he's been doing it consistently for so long. So me and him got to get linked up here soon.
100%. Um, you know, if it doesn't happen within the next 2 years, well, in 2 years' time, we're going to make sure you get up to Toronto for CMPX
I'll
for
clown.
what we call the Canadian AHR Light. It's our Canadian version of AHR, and we'll get you up here, and we'll get you in front of Gary for sure. I
Yeah,
got
that.
Gary's an absolutely amazing guy.
Yeah,
Another guy who lives like 40 minutes away from me. Gary and I chat, regularly, and I've got nothing but love and respect for Gary. Absolutely phenomenal guy who's doing great things for our industry.
yes, yes, he is, man, and it's awesome to see those people like that succeed. And that's where the awards come into
Yep.
play. Like you're happy to see your friends win awards, whether you won one or not. I mean, to be honest, this year, everybody knows that I'm very close with Tersh Blissett from the Service Business Mastery podcast. And
Hmm.
this year was almost meant as much to me, presenting the award to him as it was me winning my own podcast of the year.
Absolutely.
Because that guy's helped me so much and he's such a good friend of mine. Him and his wife, Julie, are just amazing people, like amazing people. So,
Yep.
but all right, enough that we've kissed the rest of the industry's ass. I guess if somebody did not see
Yep.
the last episode, before we start talking about some of the things at the CMPX, a little bit about you, your specialty, what you do, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm a Red Seal refrigeration AC mechanic and gas fitter one in Toronto, Ontario, Canada area. So with those tickets, I can work on any tonnage equipment, polyphase. So, in my daily, I work on units as small packaged rooftop units and air handlers as small as 2 tons up to 300 tons of cooling capacity. And gas heating with a gas fitter one ticket. I can work on unlimited BTU input to an appliance for natural gas and propane heating. I've worked my way into being a commissioning technician. I work for an equipment rep firm out of the Toronto area. Uh, they sell a select line of specialized HVAC equipment. So people who do follow me on social know I post a lot of AON material. So I do work a lot on AON equipment. Also work on a lot of Condair humidification and dehumidification products, and also indoor pool dehumidifiers. So the brand that we work on is Ceresco. And indoor pool units, they are a bit of a different beast, to say the least.
I've messed with
Um,
them a few times. They are
yep.
with the reheat coils for humidity and all that kind of stuff. Like it. I haven't done them a ton, but I do know that they can get a little finicky.
Yeah, like the easiest way I can explain a pool dehumidification system is it is a single evaporator with multiple condensers, and you can operate two condensers at any given time if needed. So, for example, you broke out the term reheat coil, that'd be your dehumidification coil. You could run dehumidification alone, you could run in reheat mode, you could run in air conditioning mode if needed. And if they have what's called a pool heat coax, that would operate in tandem with one of those two other modes. So you could run reheat with pool heating, you could run AC with pool heating, or you could run reheat with AC. It gets a little bit mind-boggling. Thinking about all the different modes these things run in. Well, this one unit runs in, but when you spend a little bit of time and break it down into the basic components involved in a air conditioning and refrigeration system, and realize that, hey, there's only one evaporator in this unit. There's only one TXV, one metering device, and there's multiple heat rejection coils. There's multiple condensers. As soon as I start, breaking it down that way to our new mechanics and apprentices, all of a sudden that light bulb goes off and they go, "Oh shit, I get it now." And if anybody's looked at one of these things and has been a little bit intimidated, yeah, they can be. But once you break it down into the basics, they're less of an intimidating monster. You just got to know what uh, mode of operation is operating at any one given time on those things.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. When I was still in the field years ago, when I worked for the last company, we did this. I think I've talked about it on the show before. Um, it was a big like nursing home development, but it was like near DC. It was like really nice. It was where like senators and places like that they send their family. It was a 3-tiered circle, but it had like armed guards. And in the center where like the nursing home and like apartments and things were, they had a pool, but it had all those glass windows. You could tell when it wasn't working when you get there, and they're all steamed up and fogged and
Yep.
stuff like that. And and I'm a master HVAC tech. I mean, I don't know everything, but I can learn. I can understand when somebody says something to me. And I forget the name of the brand of that, but I called their tech support. And I'll be honest, that was one of the best tech support experiences I've ever had. That guy was awesome. He walked me through everything. And when I got done that phone call, I felt comfortable going back out there to work on that thing and understand it. Just how you said you talked to your apprentice, that
Yep.
guy was amazing, and I was able to get it working. It's been years ago. I forget what it was, but that phone call was amazing because nobody else knew it. I mean, we didn't normally take care of that, so
Hmm.
the fact that I learned just made me a little bit more valuable in the boss's eyes as well. But
Yep.
I appreciate that phone call because it really helped. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, it's only okay. You know what I mean? Like sitting there talking me through it and not rushing
Yep.
me, like it was
The
it,
light
it was
bulbs just
awesome.
start clicking off and lighting up one by one.
Yeah, and you're never too old to learn new things, man. Like I still
No.
love learning new stuff to this day. I there's tons of stuff I don't know, and I still love to learn things. So that was awesome. I kind of miss those moments sometimes. I try to get
Yeah.
out in the field as much as I can because I love having those moments, or even the teaching, like you said, when somebody else has that aha moment. I love it. When you can tell that it clicked. The gears are all
Exactly.
in timing and everything's going, and you're like, "Oh," it's like, "Yes, he's got it." Or she's
Yep.
got it. Sorry, you gotta make sure to talk about the
Yeah.
ladies.
Had a moment of that today. So we are doing, little crazy weather. We're going through a little bit of a heat spell these past couple of days up here in the Great White North,
Here too.
and today it was a high of probably around 70, 71.
Yeah.
And we're doing cooling startups on a college, and think what did my apprentice and I do? We got through 5 out of the 7 units, and then the other mechanic did 2 of them when he arrived later in the day. But we got through commissioning just over 115 tons worth of cooling across those 5 units.
Man.
So one of those units had 2 stages of cooling, 3 condenser fans for those 2 stages. We started up the first stage and it tripped on high pressure. Well, the condenser fans never came on.
Oh,
So took a look at how it was wired. It had a condenser fan VFD and overloads. So took a look at the VFD. It was wired proper. And I took a look at the overloads and noticed a little thing that popped out. Well, the overloads, they're supposed to have the 24 volt, or sorry, not the 24 volt. They're supposed to have, yeah, sorry, the 24 volt enable for the condenser fan relay that then closes dry contacts for run permissive for the condenser fan VFD. Well, they landed one of the terminals on a normally open contact on an overload instead of normally closed.
mm,
So that condenser fan relay for the run permissive would never energize. So once I saw what was going on in there, I'm not going to immediately break out a screwdriver and re-land the terminal properly. This is a teaching opportunity. This is a saying to my apprentice that was with me, all right, I know what's wrong. You need to learn what's wrong here now. I'll point you in the right vicinity of what's going on. There's something wrong with the overloads for the condenser fans. Tell me what's wired wrong. And also, here's the wiring diagram as well. So he took a look through and he was scratching his head over it a little bit, and he's a little bit puzzled. And eventually that light bulb just clicked. He's like, they're all supposed to be through the normally closed contacts. I'm like, yes. Where's that last overload wired to? Normally open. So is that VFD ever going to turn on? No. Perfect. Here's my screwdriver. Land it properly.
nice. You got. I
It's
put a question up there. Jason Johnson said, "Are they solid state overloads, Matt?"
No, they're not. No, these were non-solid state overloads, just Schneider Electrics.
That's cool. That's a cool experience to learn that. I've always wanted to ask you this because I don't act like I know everything. So back when I did commercial industrial, there was a few times that I had to work on Aon units. I was with somebody else, but you hear a lot of people bitch about them. Like,
Yeah,
what makes them different? Like what is the allure? Like, what is the ignorance from people that don't know? Like what is the big deal with Aon units?
lack of training and lack of knowledge about how the product works. So the way that Aon as a product is distributed is there's local rep firms that are selling the product. And a lot of those local rep firms have their own technicians that do get trained on how to work on it. And that's typically they're there for the startup procedures. They're there to do commissioning like I do. And occasionally they'll get called in for service on them, but 9 times out of 10, a different service provider is going to be looking after the maintenance and service of the units. Well, they're not necessarily properly trained to work on them or trained at all. So if you're not trained at all to go work on a piece of equipment, frustration goes way up.
Yeah.
It's and it's also market saturation of the product. So Aeons are not seen that often in comparison to your Chiclet, Carrier, Lennox, York, Train, rooftop units. They're semi-custom air handlers. So the price point is higher for a semi-custom air handling unit, and it's even higher for other products that are full custom air handling units. And I'd argue that for those products and those product lines that are fully custom, they're going to have similar issues with people not being properly exposed to them or having the appropriate knowledge to work on them. And that's where a lot of frustration kind of sets in. And I get a number of people that reach out and go, this bleeping effing piece of junk doesn't do what I want and I don't know how to work on it. I'm like, okay, I appreciate your frustration because I've been there before. Years ago, I had that similar mindset. And you got to overcome that. You got to look at it as, again, back to basics.
Yeah.
What is in the system? How is it working? Sure, it's got proprietary control boards in it, but what's a control board? It's a bunch of inputs and outputs at the end of the
Amen.
day.
Yep. What are you gonna
So
say?
let's look at, do you have the proper input? Okay. Is it outputting what it needs to output? And if you don't know the logic and whatnot that goes on in the board to get from your input to your output, no problem. That's just more training that you can look at, pursuing on your own time or reaching out to a local rep firm and saying, hey, I've got a site with X number of Aon units on it. I want training. I want to know how to work on these. I want to be better.
And they'll
I
always
want
give
to,
you that. They will never
yeah,
tell you no. That's what people don't realize. If I don't care what manufacturer, you can badmouth whoever you want. If you call them and say, I work on a lot of your product, I would love to have training, they will make it work. Will all
yep,
of them be free? Probably not.
no,
They,
absolutely not.
so don't expect that. But they will give you the training that you need. That's just so I want to put that out there real fast. I've heard some people say, and they're like, they never have trainings. I'm like, yes, they do. Yeah, they're somewhere. All of the big brands, unless you have a little hole in the wall supply house, which I know some people have, like the mom and pop places, maybe they don't do it as much, but somebody in your area is offering some kind of training on the particular product you're trying to learn. That's just a fact.
Yep. I got the chat going for the podcast on my phone here. I just saw a comment from Jason. Aon uses eBus communication between modules and components. Yes, they do. And do you know what eBus communication is, Jason? It's Modbus communication. It's just a slightly different form of Modbus. What's Modbus communication? BACnet MSTP is Modbus communication. It's just a different communication protocol. So, yeah, Aon uses a specific branded communication protocol between their boards for them to talk. So what? The board's got to talk to, say to one another what they are doing and what needs to be done. The one thing to note on the eBus line and eBus communication chain is if a component goes down on that chain, it can take down everything. And a lot of times the culprit is the outdoor temp and humidity sensor, if it is a digital one on the eBus chain. So look at the connection point on those. And if it's rotted at all, just replace that connection point with, stake-on connectors or butt connectors. And 9 times out of 10, you get the unit back up and running.
Yeah, I think
Little
Jason likes
inside
them.
secret.
Yeah, I think he likes Aeon units because his other comments. Because he said
Yeah.
when we talked about people not knowing, he said they can't handle all the controls and wiring. He said, but they have the best wiring diagram in the business.
Yeah. I absolutely love their wiring diagram. They make it so simplistic. And for units right out of factory that haven't been extend upgraded, which is a different topic, a controls retrofit upgrade. For ones right out of the factory, the wiring diagram that they put in the unit, they color code the wires. And on the wiring diagram, if it's a yellow wire with a black stripe on it going from one section to another, it's going to be a yellow wire with a black friggin' stripe on it in the damn unit. So it helps you, track down exactly what wire to start looking at. As opposed to some units I've worked on in the past that were, all black wires with rubbed out numbers
Yeah.
on the end of the wires.
I was
Or,
a carrier guy. They're all blue. I need blue
Yep.
A50. Oh no, this is blue B something. I'm like, this sucks. Trying to find it what it is. I know we started a little late, so we still have time left. And I wanna still talk about CMPX, but I'm curious to this because I feel like it's gonna seem like a dumb question, but I feel like it could take us into a cool conversation. Is when you do a startup on some of these units, like what is your protocol? Like what are you when you go to start up a unit, and you can pick a random one, um,
Yeah.
like what are you finding and what a lot of times is involved in that? Because a lot of people are gonna say, oh, commissioning, he's just turning it on, throwing some gauges on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
we could like clear some myths up with that.
Yeah, for sure. So first thing I'm doing when I get to site is if it's a new commissioning, I don't care what brand it is, whether it's a humidifier, a package rooftop, a split unit, a pool dehum unit. First thing I'm doing before I even bring any tools into the site, depending on how big the site is I'm going to do a walkthrough. I'm going to get up to the equipment. I'm going to make sure that the installing contractor has done their job, make sure that they've put in the ship loose items, installed the ship loose items properly for me to do my job. And if they haven't, I'm going to start making a deficiency list that is either going to go back, well, either way, it's going to go back to the installing contractor to remedy it. If it's a deficiency that is going to prevent me from doing my job, that won't let me do the startup, then I am contacting my customer, the company, my parent company that sold the equipment, and telling them, hey, I arrived to this site. This is what I walked into. They're not ready. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to move it along to make it better for when either I return or one of the other mechanics? Or given what I've walked into, do you want me to walk and you talk to your customer, you talk to your installing contractor and say, hey, you've got to, basically get better, do your job, do what you were contracted to do so that when someone like me walks in, I can do my job.
Yeah.
I'm the startup guy. I'm not the installer. So, you know, there are times where like a minor ship loose item, like a discharge air temperature sensor might not be installed that I can do quickly. And I'll do that just to move things along. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs to get paid.
Yeah.
You know,
S
the
so
people
who's
who
doing
sold the equipment.
economizers? I'm sorry. I was saying
Yeah.
like economizers, is that installing? person? Are they just hooking it up and you have to make sure it works, or is that something that you're putting on?
So on Aon units, the economizer section is already built in.
Oh, sweet.
The only thing they need to do is prop up the economizer, the fresh air hood, the economizer hood, or for a makeup air unit, it would be, the outdoor air damper hood. 9 times out of 10, they're missing the actual factory provided screws for it. And we show them exactly where they're located in the unit. And hopefully next time they find them, because it saves me from breaking out a can of spray paint and going over their silver screws and blending it into the actual paint of the unit. Because if I don't, then those are going to rust and it's going to look like shit. And people pay a lot of money for these. You want it to look good. You want it to be the best install, and you want the best startup done on the equipment so that you're not going to have any issues with it moving forward. So, no, I don't just turn on a switch and hook up a few gauges and, you know, go, oh, yeah, it's working. See you later. After I've done my, initial walkthrough, then it's bringing up all the tools and collecting all your, voltages, your amperages, making sure before we even power the equipment, going through every single electrical connection in the piece of equipment, making sure they're tight and landed properly. You spend an hour, hour and a half going through the electrical connections in the unit before you start it up and start trying to get stuff working. Saves you a world of hurt.
Yeah.
Saves you a lot of troubleshooting and wasted time. And then once you have all that done, it's going through your testing your different modes of operation and collecting all the startup information that needs to go into a written report. So, once I'm done, testing the equipment and can either leave it operational or have to turn it off due to site conditions. If it's still a construction site, you're not going to leave a piece of equipment running necessarily because you'll void warranty.
Yeah.
Unless there's stuff that's documents that have been signed off to leave it going. And we will if the, powers that be have signed off on saying we need this running and, we'll void the warranty or we'll do things to protect warranty. Well, the equipment's running during a construction phase. Once I'm done all that, I am then sitting down and writing up an official startup document to submit to the manufacturer to show that A, I've done my job, and B, they review it and say yay or nay if I did my job or not. Sometimes they come back with, oh, actually, no, you need to go back and do something else. You need to collect another piece of data, which is a pain
Yeah.
at the end of the day, but we do what we need to do to get our job done. And at the end of the day, it's making sure that everybody gets paid on the job, from the people that sold the equipment to the people that installed the equipment to myself, the lowly startup guy who just flicks a switch and makes sure the thing, blows air.
Yeah, right. And I think that's awesome about you explaining it because I think that even when it comes to residential, I think that, oh, I got to put in, but the commissioning part is just important to get, getting a system up and running is your job is not done. Whether you have, it's residential and the installer should actually be the one commissioning it, or it's a big specialized piece of equipment like you're doing where the installer and the commissioning tech are two different people. That getting any unit up and dialed in, because anything that's mass produced has issues. We all know this,
Yep.
so
Anything mass produced or even, you know, not necessarily mass produced, but one offs or semi one offs.
yeah.
As soon as human hands go into the manufacturing, mistakes are going to happen.
Yep.
And it's on the, commissioning tech, or if the installer is the commissioning tech, the installer startup commissioning tech, to find that. They're the last line of defense. They are there to make sure that the end user, to steal, kind of a cliched line, we're there to make sure the end user has the best possible experience with that brand of equipment. Because if at the end of the day they have an awesome experience with whatever brand it is, they're more likely to come back and ask for that brand again. They're more likely to buy it again.
Yeah, and let's be honest, regardless of brand, when something is installed properly and then commissioned properly, it's as a company, as a technician, you can leave that knowing that system is running exactly the way it's supposed to be. Not because
Yep,
I feel like it or I think so, because I know so. I have the data
absolutely.
right here, the pressures, the electrical data, whatever it is. And also, when you do that, it's funny how your warranty problems start to diminish. Not saying you don't still have them, but when that thing is dialed in exactly the way it's supposed to be, warranty problems, the system lasts longer and you don't have as many warranty issues, at least not in the beginning years. Because a lot of times when I go out and I see warranty stuff, I don't want to say it's not like it's user error, like it was deliberate, but I feel like it's something that if something was changed on the startup process, this would not be a problem right now. So people ask at our company, I tell people within the first 5 years of us putting in a system for you, if it's a gas furnace and your heat exchanger cracks, um, anything happens to that in the first 5 years, I will replace the furnace at no charge to them. And people are like, well, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Because,
Because you stand behind your work,
and it
you
shouldn't,
stand behind the product, and it
and
shouldn't happen.
no, and if it fails in the first 5 years, it means we didn't do something right.
Yep,
That it's just it's that simple. It means we didn't do something right, and we need to be behind it. I'm not gonna tell a
absolutely.
customer, yeah, 5 years later, "Oops, sorry about your bad luck, I'm gonna take your money again." That's never gonna happen, at least not where any place I am. Um,
Yep,
so that's awesome. People realize that. Even the guys that are residential and not commercial, whether it's, checking the gas pressure, like, oh, but every time I hook it up, it's always where it should be. Okay, well, that one that you check that's not, you just saved something. Like all those little things. He just said that he had a learning lesson with his apprentice and a brand new unit commissioning found a wire that should have been on one terminal and it was on another. Like, there you go. Proof's in the pudding. So, and I know that you're working on all those big stuff. And before we get into this CMPX real fast, is a lot of you guys don't know, and you hear the way that Matt talks, is anybody who ever has an issue with any of these kind of units that he does, people call him all the time, and he's there helping them, answering the phone, and that's that's huge because let's be honest, we all work all day. You get tired. When you get home, you're trying to relax. You're trying to do things. And the fact that people are selfless and willing to take those phone calls and still be able to help other people is awesome because not everybody does it. They say they would, but they don't. So,
yeah.
you know.
I've been stranded on calls. I'm working on equipment that, as an apprentice, I shouldn't have. And, I know the frustration of being stranded. And if I can help somebody on equipment that I have knowledge about and tech support's closed, or for certain brands, they've changed their tech support protocol and they won't offer support for, units older than 5 years. And you need to contact your local, rep firm that reps that brand for support and say they're closed. Well, I have people reach out on Instagram. Can I get to everybody? No, I can't. I'm merely one guy, but I get to as many as I can. I help out as many as I can. And for those that I can help out and they have a positive experience with the product, awesome, job done. You know,
Yeah, it's
they're going to be
awesome.
armed with that knowledge to move forward the next time. And they're not going to have to call me. They're going to be like, "Oh, wait, I experienced this issue before. I remember talking to Matt. Let's try this out." And, it'll most likely work for him in that application, in that situation, get him out of that bind.
Yeah, see, I call Matt and I'm like, hey man, I'm putting this Ecobee thermostat and it's not working.
Yeah, that's when you get the, yeah, sorry about your darn luck. Mine doesn't work that great either, Gil.
Although I've been pretty lucky at my new house. So it's we're a Lennox dealer. Lennox hooked me up with a pretty nice system. So I didn't get signature for the outdoor unit, but it's fine. But they gave me their I don't know, it's like 20 something, 23 SEER uh inverter outdoor unit, and then a signature gas furnace and all the other bells and whistles that they hooked me up with. So that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to put that in the house. I want to make some videos of me putting that in with my team helping me because you know, I want to get it
That's
done.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
and
pretty cool.
you know, once again, congrats on. I know it's a stressful time right now. Congrats on the new house, brother. I know you and the fam are gonna absolutely love it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm super excited. So everybody listening or watching, the new studio is going to be, when I told you that I went all out, like I literally, like, besides the computer, some microphones and a monitor, I bought everything brand new. I'm giving a lot of this stuff to one of my sons, like this desk and some other things. But because once all this stuff is set up, it's kind of a pain to start taking it apart. So I knew we were eventually going to move. So I got a new desk, all kinds of stuff. So it should be amazing. So I can't wait for you guys to check out the new studio. But yeah, we settle on the new house this Friday. So I'll get the keys, start going up there next week, and just getting like the internet and making sure all that kind of stuff. Do some little things like, you know, changing all the locks and putting the cameras up because I'm anal about, like, cameras around my house. And um I like keypad locks. I think I got one of the ones you can use like a fingerprint and stuff like that, open it with your phone. So start getting some of those little things, taking stuff up there, and the following weekend is will be like an actual move, which thank God we have quite a few people because I'm not looking forward to it. Getting old, man. My takes a little thing that my back gets thrown out and I'm done for a week. I'm like,
Speaking of old, yeah, hit that 45 mark the other day.
oh,
Uh,
that's I
I'm
forgot.
starting to feel it as well.
Yes, that's why I said happy belated birthday, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm not haven't been on
Much
Facebook that
appreciated,
much,
Gil.
so I missed.
It's all
Yeah,
good. No, Facebook, I just recently started doing Facebook, and really, I'm not on that much. I just let my Instagram feed directly into it, and you make a few more contacts. There's some people that are only on that platform. Maybe bring them over to Instagram as well.
yeah. I see. I kind of started on Facebook, so I stay there because I have that group, even though I don't go into it much. But I'm happy. I would love to get all those people over to Instagram, and I probably wouldn't be on Facebook as much. But I was pretty pumped in the last 2 weeks. I went from like what was it, like a little under 4,000 followers to now I got like 5,500. So um,
Hmm.
I'll take it. It's slowly moving the dial. So
Yep,
I
for
appreciate
sure.
everybody that started following me on there. That's if I can get at that up to like 20, 30, or whatever, just like a respectable amount, then I don't have to worry about Facebook. Because I just
Hmm.
feel like Instagram is more positive, and Facebook, especially my group, like I'm glad I have it and all that kind of stuff, but it's not what I intend it to be. I think like people see HVAC Uncensored and it gives them a reason to be a jerk off, and that's not where the
That's not what
uncensored
it's
came.
about.
No, the uncensored meant like I was going to give you my uncensored opinion about different topics and talk about things, and that's
Hmm.
what it was supposed to be for.
Yep.
So, but you
I
never
was
know.
laughing at a comment that my buddy Ryan from the Misfits put into the chat. Not that I'm a stand-up guy. Occasionally, I'll stand up. But imagine the world with two of me. I don't think the world could handle my ego times two. It's That'd be scary. I'd actually be afraid to walk into another one of me.
The twin. Yeah, because I think I called this show talking with Matt Waxer too, the checkup or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Um
Well,
that's
take two of these and call me in the morning. See how it goes.
well, I don't have the wrapper. I was gonna say I don't sleep, so I took one of my THC gummies before I
So that's going to kick in about 30 minutes, and Gil's going to go night night.
yeah, all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, it's been having a great uh, yeah, it sucked,
And
man,
that's
because
the
I
official outro of the podcast, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, man, because people know like I did not sleep at all. Like I'd go through a normal work week and I might sleep 8 to 10 hours the whole week.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to take all those prescriptions. So when they legalized marijuana around here, I started trying the gummies. I don't smoke it or nothing, but the gummies and the chews to go to sleep have been a godsend, man. Like I've been
Yeah.
actually being able to sleep at night.
It's
Because
finding what works for you.
yeah, and because at first I'm not in that loop anymore like I was when I was a teenager. And my tattoo guy has one of the dispensaries underneath of him, and I was telling him, and I was like, "Man, I'd love to try like those gummies or something to go to sleep." And he's like, "Go downstairs and get some." And I was like, "I don't have a
Nice.
card." And he was like, "Gil, they legalized it back in July." He was like, "Anybody can go down there, buddy." I was like, "Well, I'll be damned. I'm gonna do that." And thank God it's been great. But I know we're already an hour, but before we end,
Yep.
guys, you heard us talk about it earlier. You always hear a lot of us talk about AHR, which is huge. It's the biggest HVAC refrigeration convention in the United States, hands down. Period. And now all of our brothers and sisters in Canada are having what's called the CMPX show. Like he just said, it's going to be in Toronto. If I was not moving, I would 100% be there to support all of my Canadian friends, also just to see what they're doing. But I guess let's give a little shout out, let everybody know, what's going on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, for sure. So CMPX is Canadian Mechanical and Plumbing Exposition, and it runs every other year in Toronto, in my neck of the woods. So I was there last time in 2022 because they postponed the 2021 due to, I don't know, some global thing that went on. People
The
were,
the
locked up
vid.
and whatnot. But, last one was awesome. And this year is going to be bigger and better is the, catchphrase and advertising for it. They're in a bigger event hall at the facility that they use for it, the Toronto Metro Toronto Convention Center, right by the Rogers Center and CN Tower. So basically, CMPX is kind of like our AHR. Um, is it as big? No. It's a more, smaller and intimate trade show, but all your major manufacturers are going to be there. And a lot of influencers, not from Canada, not only from Canada, but across the United States. So, Mike Flynn's going to be there. Ben Poole's going to be there. There's rumblings that a Boilerman might come up. We'll see if Louis makes it
Oh,
or not. But I know he's a busy man, so if he makes it, great. If not, well, next CMPX we'll see him there. Day one of CMPX, Wednesday, March 20th. Gary McCready is doing live podcasts all 3 days. I'm going to be on his podcast 1:30 day one. Each day of the show, I'm going to be doing live giveaways at the Kilmer Environmental booth. It's going to be an awesome time giving away a Trade Fox Jumper King, a tub of Hot Block, and a third generation Trade Fox umbrella to some lucky winners.
nice.
And we're going to be floating around, the social hub on the floor, sticker swaps. It's going to be an amazing time. Can't wait for it to happen. Also,
Yeah,
night one, Gary has an event happening, the HVAC Know It All Text with Benefits event at the Amsterdam Brew House. And Gary has set up a charitable donation with Toronto Sick Kids Hospital. Sick Kids Hospital is a world class facility. People from around the world actually fly into Toronto Sick Kids because it's that good of a hospital. So Gary has a link on his social media feed for his charitable donation. Anybody that is in the position that they can give to it, I implore you, please give to a worthy cause. Sick Kids holds a special spot in my heart and also in Gary's heart for things that they've done for my family and also his family.
yeah. Even
So
if it's $10,
absolutely
people.
amazing time. Yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. $10, man. Like, don't feel like when you do those things and you donate, it has to be like something extravagant. If all the people that listen to these different shows, a couple 100,000 people donates $10, a dollar, just to say a dollar. That's $300,000. That's a lot of money. So don't feel like you got to do a lot. A little bit goes a long way.
exactly. Yeah, every little bit helps, and every little bit, is going to help contribute to the betterment of this world class facility.
That's
And
amazing.
good on Gary that he was able to set up that donation because it's one thing to go to a trade show and go to an after event. It's another thing to go to one of those things and have something like this set up to give back. The industry's been so good to us. Let's give back to worthy causes as well.
Yeah, you're
So,
you're gonna leave a mark that's gonna be felt well after, the show and the exhibit is shut down, long gone. You know what I mean? That's leaving a lasting mark. That is huge, and I love what Gary's doing and what he's done over this whole time. So that's amazing. And all of you know him, Gary McCready, when he says that HVAC know it all, YouTube, Instagram, wherever it is. Awesome dude, and I'm glad that he's because he's kind of put the lead on this thing, right? As far as like getting this thing set up
Absolutely.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's Gary included a few of us in a chat a while back about him wanting to set up an event, and then over the course of a weekend, he had 4 or 5 sponsors already, going for the event, and good on him for setting up this first ever Text with Benefits event. It's going to be an amazing time.
Awesome. Yeah, I wish I could be there. So everybody knows, if I was not in the process of settling my house and moving, I would 100% be there all day, every day. So, like uh, Hughes said, looking forward to seeing this on social media, and I am as well. Looking to see the fun you guys are having and what you're doing up there in Canada.
Up in
Um,
that Great White North igloo spot. Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. Plus, I've heard like one of the best places to visit is Toronto. Is that true?
Uh, uh, Toronto's a fun spot. I think there's lots of great spots in Canada to go visit. So,
Cool.
West Coast, Vancouver is amazing. East Coast, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. There's amazing spots all over Canada, just like there's amazing spots all over the United States.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I've been all over places, all over the world, but I've actually never been to Canada. So that's
Well,
something that I
we're gonna
definitely.
have to get that American honorary A team member that you are
Yeah,
up
hey,
to the
yeah,
Great White North and show you a good time up here, Gil.
hey,
It'll be awesome.
I'm down for it. Once I get moved in and get settled, a few other things. I told my wife I'd get her a new car, but I gotta wait till the house settles because apparently you can't buy anything before you make a purchase this big. But then I want to hurry up and get a car before you're. A lot of you don't know if you buy a house or something like that. After it's done, your credit takes a little bit of a hit. So it's just natural. It'll go back up, but it's a process. So I'm literally gonna sign for the house on Friday, and then Saturday I'm gonna go get my wife a car before that hits, and then I'll deal with the consequences afterwards.
Nice.
um, but I'm not gonna keep you any longer. I do want to ask this. I'm curious because I always bitch about how the United States fails the trades as far as there's only 18 states that actually require any kind of licensing or, something like that. Your guys' Red Seal stuff and all of your stuff is for the whole country, right? It's not
Yeah.
different in little things.
So my refrigeration and air conditioning ticket, that's good across Canada. My gas fitting ticket, that is not Red Seal. That is province specific. So that's good in my province of Ontario. However, if I wanted to get an equivalency elsewhere, I just need to basically show them my ticket and maybe write an exam, and I'm good to go there.
Hmm. But they
But
all have
the
requirements,
licensing,
though, right?
yes. So the licensing process is long. For the refrigeration and AC ticket, it's a 5-year apprenticeship, 9,000 hours. And during that 9,000 hours, you need to do 3 levels of schooling for 2 months full time. So just half of the HVAC ticket, it's a 5-year endeavor before you can even set your journey person exam.
But see,
There's areas in the States where there's stuff similar to that, but there's a lot of areas where there isn't anything like that.
no, there's a lot that's not. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that my state has it. But like Pennsylvania, it's right above me.
Yep.
Pennsylvania doesn't require any license. I think that's where Hughes Man is. And there's a lot of other ones that are like that. It's like a contractor's license, and that's where I think that us as Americans drop the ball, and I think that you guys have it. Because to be honest, and this is not just me saying this because you're here, but I think of a lot of Canadian techs that I've met that I think that are a lot better technically. They're a lot better techs than a lot of people here because a lot of people learned wishy-washy. There was no kind of this is what you have to do. Like I can't wait till the day that all the states, and maybe it's a little different. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But when all 50 states require licensing, like there's got
Yep.
to be some kind of apprenticeship program. We're going to be putting out better technicians. I just think it's going to help. It's going to help everything.
It'll help standardize the industry.
Yeah.
Set people more on a level playing field. Will there be people that, take that initiative themselves and learn more? Absolutely. There'll be, different caliber of technicians, but to standardize the apprenticeship training program across the United States, that's going to be a lofty goal and lofty thing to do. But, us crazy Canucks did it.
Yeah.
So why can't you guys?
Hey, there's enough of us going to get together. We're going to make it happen if we're going to see me in Washington, Hell
Nice.
no, we won't go. Hey ho.
Exactly.
This never mind. I was gonna say something bad. But I'm gonna go and end this though, man, because we've been past an hour now. But Matt, I want to thank you so much for coming on, dude. I appreciate you. Um, I'm so glad that we got to hang out in Chicago. You're an awesome dude, and I'm so glad that we became friends and stay
Likewise, Gil.
connected, buddy.
Absolutely. We'll be talking soon, my brother. Thanks
All
again
right.
for having me on.
Yes, of course. And have fun at the CMPX, and I'm gonna close this thing out, my man.
Will do.
Well, everybody in the chat, real fast, I want to thank all of you for coming here. So obviously, my moderators, Mr. Hughes, man, Jason Johnson, what is up, my brother? I love you, buddy. I'm sorry about the pup, so my heart goes out to you, my man. Mr. Nasty HVACR was the first one in here. What is up, homie? Let's see, Mr. Blogger, hello, hello, Mr. Brian Sanders. Let's make sure I don't miss anybody. Mr. Freon Leon, what is up? What is up? I know Mr. Sam Andrews was in here earlier. What's up, Sammy? Let's see. Mr. Just Work HVAC. What's up, bro? See, make sure I don't miss anybody. If I do, I apologize. Man, scrolling up here, it's a good little bit. So I think I got everybody. So I'll be back on Wednesdays now, back to normal show. Like I said, for the 2 weeks off. Now you guys know what happened. Please pay attention to my Instagram. I have a bunch of stuff to catch up giving away. And also, before I forget, all of the podcast emails are working now. So info at HVACuncensored.com is the one that I want you to use. And obviously, everything happened. I have those little things to ship out. I have Sam's information. His is good. I have Nate Christian. His stuff is good. But the two other winners, I want to say Freon Leon, it's you, and it's East Coast. I don't see East Coast in here, but I see Freon Leon. Buddy, if you see this, man, email me info at HVACuncensored.com. Your name and your address so I can get this thing out to you, buddy. I literally have them sitting right here, and I want to get that done as soon as possible before I move. I want to try to get all these things shipped out before I move. So make sure you send that to me so I can get this stuff out to you. But I hope all of you guys have been having, a great week so far. I appreciate you guys coming back. Did you already send it East Coast? Let me see if I have. Yeah, I don't think I have yours. Send it to the info email, buddy. And if you don't mind doing it again, I'll get these things out as soon as possible. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I hope everybody's doing good, man. It's been like 70 something degrees here. Everything's looking good, moving in the right direction. Cannot wait to get into this house, get into the new studio. And there's going to be a space where I can have people over and do live podcasts with somebody else rather than doing this. We'll be sitting next to each other. So I'm really, really looking forward to all this. It's just going to be a space that I've been wanting it's been a long time coming. So I can't wait to actually have it and for you guys to be able to enjoy it with me and to be able to put out some better content you guys enjoy. So a lot of things in the work. I've hired a team that they're not working yet, but an editor, a social media person, to really try to take this whole uncensored studios and HVAC uncensored to the next level, and to be able to just put out better content that you guys enjoy. No pants, no pants. Sorry. With that being said, once again, not to beat a dead horse, thank all of you for the message you sent me. I cannot say it again how much I appreciate those. So thank you. But let's start closing this thing out, man. Please remember to be safe out there. I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way you left. Keep your head on a swivel. I don't care if it's driving, turning off breakers, whatever it is. Just please, please be careful. Okay. I never ever want to hear look on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is and hear something happening to one of you. So please, please be safe out there and look after one another. Remember to do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. All right. It's keep trying to be better, whether it's at HVAC, it's in life. Just keep trying to do things to set yourself apart. And if you are really good at what you do, give back to the industry. Train somebody. Find one of those young bucks at your work, and just take them under your wing, and let them have their aha moment. Give back to the industry. All right. And with podcasts and online courses and local supply houses giving trainings or whatever it may be, there's so many resources to be able to get better at whatever you want to do, even if it's a hobby. There's Skillshare. That's not a sponsor or nothing. I've taken classes and learned so much stuff taking classes like that. Reading books. I was never huge on reading. Now I read books frequently, and it's amazing. I've learned so much stuff. And I never thought in a million years that I'd just sit down and read a book, but it's been life changing. So do that kind of stuff. All right. And with that being said, remember, I love you, mofos, man. All right. And I'll talk at you next week. All right. See you.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.